For all the talent and all the experience you have on offense, you make the case the defense is just as talented. Before we start talking about individual positions, overall thoughts on your defensive unit?
It's kind of like the offense. We've got a bunch of returning starters at all three areas. Guys who have played since they were sophomores. We got some sophomores who had to play as freshmen. As good as we think our defense can be, we're still starting 4 or 5 sophomores on the defense, but we are excited about them.
Let's start up front. Tylen's going to get the most recognition because he's going to be the biggest monster up there. A Tylen who has that motor, no one's ever questioned Tylen's God-given ability and talent, but if he can bring that 100% nonstop motor, he's got the chance to really have a special season and allows you to do some really good things defensively.
Just having him in the middle, and forcing probably 2 guys to have to block him every play really frees you up. Kind of like if you have a lockdown corner or 2 lockdown corners, it frees you up what you can do in the secondary. When you got a kid who can be dominated on the defensive line, it creates a lot more one-on-ones for everybody else. So obviously that's something we're excited to have take place.
Is it kind of like when you talk about the other people on the defensive line, you mentioned about how if Jacob's being double teamed, we have other kids who can maybe step up there. Well, if Tylen's getting 2 and 3 guys up front from offensive line, who can be able to, beat their other guys and have chances to really have big years up front on the D line?
Well, our other 3 guys are all returning starters. Slade Ziegler, who is our down linebacker, but he's always on the line of scrimmage, is a returning starter at his position. Zach Bernard, who's a sophomore, is a returning starter at his position. He wound up starting as a freshman in week 4 last year and never came off the field. He just got better every single week. And then Nathan Glenn was a kid who started on the offensive line, and we moved him over because we felt like we had good depth on offensive line and we needed another kid. And Nathan's got that chip and that tenacity that you want to have in a defensive lineman. So those guys will probably reap the rewards of getting some more one-on-ones because everybody's going to focus on Tylen in the middle. But Tylen can be such a force that even with a double team, he can still make plays.
Your linebacking core?
We got 4 guys for 2 positions, and then 2 of those guys can play our down safety and our inside linebacker positions. On the inside, we've got a sophomore, Christian Westcott, and we got a senior, Zach Womack, who are both returning starters. We also have a senior, Trevor Burnett, and another senior, Cody Orvin. And Cody's a kid who we feel like we can move to multiple positions based on if it's a package or if we just want to play with another safety in a specific situation. Cody's a kid who started as a safety last year and really got bigger, really got stronger, and we want to be able to get him closer to the line of scrimmage. But those 4 guys we're really excited about.
You always talk about he played as a freshman or all that kind of stuff. I'm always interested to know, especially in the high school level, yes, you're going to have your freak athletes, your Devons or your Tylens or your Jacobs and stuff. But for you, is the playing of freshmen, is that out of necessity, or is that something of as a coach, that's just my philosophy? The best kids are going to play no matter, and I don't care what grade they're in.
Sometimes it's out of necessity. 4 or 5 years ago, it was definitely out of necessity. But now, I think we've built the program up to where our numbers are better, and you really can say if a kid is good enough, regardless of the grade he's in, if they give us the best chance to win, then that kid's going to play. And we've been fortunate to have a number of freshmen come through the last 2-3 years that are very talented when we get them.
You talked about that, and you talked about the building of a program. Is it starting to get there to where, like, the picture you had in your head of by this year I want to have numbers? Because you're not talking, I haven't heard you use the words lack of depth at all, and knock on wood for injuries, but you feel like, hey, we've got the depth, we've got a program, we can contend with everybody else that has 80 and 90 kids on their rosters. Do you feel like the program is a lot healthier than when I took it over?
I think the biggest thing is the stability of the kids being in the same strength and conditioning program, working with the same coaches, same offensive scheme, same defensive scheme. You're not starting with everything brand new every single fall, and the kids get comfortable and you're able to grow and build on that, and you're able to advance in the weight room, you're able to advance in your schemes. And I think that's part of building the program, not so much, specific kids coming in or out, just your kids, your unit as a whole. Are you able to advance your program? And I think we've been able to do that the last 3 or 4 years. School's about to start. Got to check the bell schedule.
Check the bell so tardy's coming out. Breaking down for you in the secondary, a lot of talent, and not maybe not a lot of size, but you do have a lot of talent and experience back
Well, the 5 guys that we have there, 3 of them are sophomores. So as good as we think we can be, we are still young. And, we've got a kid who's going to step in at free safety who was forced into action. He played a lot of special teams, but in week 8, 9, 10 in playoffs, Aubrey Womack, who's going to be a sophomore, will be at free safety. Adam Randolph, who started probably around week 2 or 3, is really when he got into the rotation last year, another sophomore. They're looking at Brendan Perry out at the corner is another sophomore who started the entire season last year from the scrimmage. We saw what he could do in the summer, and he earned that position and never gave it up. Our other cornerback is Michael Goche, who's going to be a 4-year starter. Kind of very similar story as Brendan. He stepped in as a freshman, and he's never given up that spot. So he'll be a 4-year starter. And then Mackie Belliot is going to be other down safety who's a junior, who's kind of like Cody Orvin, who can step in. He started at inside linebacker for us last year, but as Cody got bigger in the offseason, Mackie got faster. So we felt like that was a natural switch that kind of took place to where we moved Mackie outside as more of a safety cover guy, and we moved Cody inside. But we do have a mix of some seniors and some young guys, but we feel like we can be pretty good there.